Welcome to this section of high-level coder on loops and conditionals. Like variables, arrays, and operators, loops and conditionals are another very important tool in the hand of a programmer, which is provided in any programming language, because we are often required to iterate through the elements of an array, for example, or to actually execute some conditional logic. So here on the left hand side you will see a Java program which is an example of a for loop which basically runs for 10 times, starting at 1 and ending at 10. So if you run this program, then it will actually print all the numbers from 1 till 10, one number in each line. And the same will be accomplished by the program written on the right hand side, which is in JavaScript. See, these two programs look very similar actually. There is hardly any difference between these two programs apart from the fact that the Java program needs to be wrapped in a main method and in a class, which are all the technicalities of Java. Now that we saw the for loop, while loop is basically another variant of the for loop, and with while loop also we can actually iterate through items of an array. And basically the difference between a while loop and a for loop is while loop is kind of more flexible, and that is why it is also verbose. So I have written the same logic of that for loop as the while loop here. So as you can see that I had to instantiate the count as 1, and then within the while loop every time I had to manually increment to I plus 1, and the condition when the while loop will stop is when I becomes greater than 10. And again, the while loop looks very similar in both Java and JavaScript. So while loop and for loop are basically interchangeably used, and it's often a matter of test, I would say. There are hardly any practical differences between the while loop or the for loop. Normally, people tend to use while loop when the end conditions are not very well known in advance, or when they actually want to have more flexibility. And now the conditionals. Here is an example of a simple if-else statement to determine whether there is a profit or a loss in a certain transaction. Like a cost price is mentioned and a sell price is mentioned. If the sell price is greater than cost price, of course that's a profit, and vice versa. On the left hand side we have the Java program, on the right hand side we have the JavaScript program. Again, they look very similar, excepting the fact that in Java program the variables are declared in a different way. In JavaScript everything is declared with let keyword, which you already know. Here is a quick demo, and first I will run one of the programs in Java and then the same program in JavaScript. So I will first compile the program. The program is compiled, and see, it prints all the numbers from 1 till 10. And now we will open the loop example 2.js, which looks much smaller. And to run JavaScript program we will use node. So it has also done the same thing. And how to run the Java and the JavaScript program within Visual Code is something which I captured in another video. Please make sure that you watch that video before you start coding, so that you know how to actually set up your IDE, so that you are able to code both in Java and JavaScript. So thank you for your patience listening. I hope the session was useful, but please try out the demo, and you will get the complete source code in my blog, which is mentioned here. And please try out the demo both in Java and JavaScript so that you are comfortable in both the languages. And if you have any questions or doubts, please let me know either via blog post or by commenting in the channel. And last but not the least, if you like the session, please go ahead and subscribe and like the video, and because that's something which is going to motivate me.